It's the Dario Saric revenge game! Hey there, everybody. Welcome into PHNX Suns pregame show. Of course, brought to you by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, visit playatgila.com for more details. I'm Aaron. That's Gerald. That's Espo. Noah's behind the Mac, making all the magic happen. We appreciate all of you coming in here on this Monday night, a late game against the Denver Nuggets. Rickety, Colts, Leo, we appreciate all of you being in here. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing well.
I'm too old for this shit.
Too old for the late game?
7:30 at night, and I feel like I could go to bed right now. They better give me something to be entertained with. Otherwise, I'm going to be asleep in those recliners, and I'm going to be angry at postgame.
We're going to record a video of you just shaking and waking you up. I have also some bad news from you. It's probably going to start at like 8:15.
Probably.
Yeah.
Happy Festivus, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Happy Festivus. Yeah. Happy holidays. The day before Christmas and Hanukkah coming up soon. We appreciate all of you making sure that you tuned in with us tonight. It's the Phoenix Suns taking on Nikola Jokic, Dario Saric, and those Denver Nuggets. Let's start with the big news defining the Phoenix Suns right now, and that again is injuries. Let's take a look at our injury report for tonight. Devin Booker out, continuing to deal with left groin soreness. Grayson Allen out in concussion protocol. Bol out, left knee contusion. Of course, Colin Gillespie out as well. Ty Washington is available. G League two-wayer there. For the Denver Nuggets, Dario Saric is available. Jamal Murray out tonight, and former Suns legend Deron Holmes II is out, as he is the entire season. Let's start with Devin Booker, though. Gerald, another game without him. We knew that he was going to miss this one, and the Suns are going to need to find a way without him.
They are, and you kind of flash back to last year when the Suns played in Denver without Devin Booker and found a way to win. That was the game where Bradley Beal kind of took over late. Kevin Durant had a great game, and they wound up kind of squeaking out a victory in overtime. You're hoping to see something similar tonight because this is a matchup between two teams, two fan bases that are down very bad right now. It's kind of getting closer to that panic button for both of these fan bases right now. And they did not look good without Book last game. They didn't look good. They haven't looked good, honestly, in a couple of weeks now, aside from 2 wins over very bad teams. So this is a chance for them to bounce back against an MVP candidate, and they're going to need another big game from Beal, another big game from Durant, and they're going to have to cut down on the turnovers.
I love that you flash back to then. I just go back one game, and I'm like, come on, guys, can we play some defense? Can we show some heart, a little hustle? Like that's where I don't have to go that far back to think about Devin Booker not being there. And
well, that was a good example, though. You're thinking of the bad example. I'm thinking of the good, and it's kind of scary that I have to go all the way back to last year for the good. But we found one.
Well, I was about to say it's kind of hard to go to the good place right now, Gerald.
Oh, yeah.
I think the good place is not frequently visited by Phoenix Suns fans at this point. And you're right, Espo. I mean, I wasn't on that Pistons postgame show, but my gosh, you just cannot put that type of effort out there, especially in the first half, especially against a team that you should be beating. We looked at this part of the Phoenix Suns schedule. The last couple of games were like, oh, that's the easy part. This is where you start stacking wins. And a Pacers team who's been disappointing and a Pistons team who's frisky but not great are 2 games that you should win. You lose both of them, making tonight, I don't know if we're in must-win category yet, but it does feel like your pride is on the line tonight. You have to compete and at least leave your fans walking away saying they put as much effort in as they needed to win.
They have to go 2-1 in these next 3.
Okay.
Look, you're sitting in 11th in the West. You're facing the Nuggets back-to-back and the Mavs, right, which are teams that at the very worst you're going to be in a battle with to try to make it in the back end of the West. At best, they're a litmus test for what you're going to have to face to be decent in the West. You can't go 1-2 and be sitting, if I'm doing my math right, sub 500 again. Before the turn of the year for a second straight year. Like this is dire. And I know people are like, oh, you're overreacting. It's only, you know, X amount of games in. No, it's a year and a half that I've seen the same thing play out. This is not freaking out over a small sample size. This is a very large sample size that we've seen, and we understand that this team will perpetually be injured. And if they don't step up with 2 of the 3 guys that this roster is built around, there is zero hope that they will be able to accomplish anything that they want to. This is the biggest test in these 3 games that they've faced all year. And if they do it without Devin Booker all 3, then I need to see both Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal step up on both ends of the court, and that supporting cast find a way to do enough on both ends to actually help them be a good enough team to win a game in tough situations.
For me, it's going to come down to cutting down on what's been their biggest bugaboo the last 2 games, which is the turnovers and the transition defense. Against the Pacers, it was 16 turnovers for 29 points off turnovers. Against the Pistons, it was 19 turnovers for 34 points off of turnovers, which I believe was their season worst. This is a Nuggets team that is actually really good in that category. They're 4th in the NBA in points off turnovers, and they are 1st in the NBA in fast break points. So if you commit the same live ball turnovers that we've seen over the last 2 games, you're going to get in a lot of trouble against a Denver team that can turn those mistakes into easy offense. So for me, I want to see the ball in Tyus Jones' hand a little bit more. I want to see Kevin Durant operating from the elbow a little bit more instead of the top of the key. And I want to see Beal and KD in particular take care of the ball, cut down on sloppy turnovers, and this whole team avoid a lot of those offensive fouls, illegal screens that count as turnovers and get them in trouble.
And to kind of add on to your point, Denver is 10th in steals per game as well. Very active hands. A couple other things just for Denver to keep in mind. They're top 3 in points per game at 3rd, top 3 in field goals made, 12th in field goals attempted, which means they're top 2 in field goal percentage. They're an extremely efficient team at shooting, but not from deep. They are dead last in the NBA in 3-pointers attempted per game. So,
which means they're going to shoot 50 tonight and make 25.
But that's what I'm saying. And that is to the point where with the effort, right? Where you talk about closing out on defense, you should not allow a team that is dead last in 3-point attempts out attempt you, or at least go way above their season average. You need to show up with a defensive intensity, because 3-point attempts is a defensive intensity stat. I know that a lot of teams go in trying to chuck it up, but when teams take a lot, it's because they're open. It's because those are the shots that they're getting. And a lot of the times with the Suns, a massive complaint has been, and a valid one, a lot of people are shooting well from 3. They have maybe not wide open looks, but they're not closing out as fast as possible to make them difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the numbers, like the Suns have actually done a good job of limiting 3-point attempts. I believe they give up the 12th fewest threes in the league. So they're borderline top 10 in that. The problem is they're giving up the 5th worst percentage on those threes. So that speaks to what you're talking about, the quality of threes. They have to find a way to cut those down. They have to find a way to limit the Nuggets in the paint, because they have Nikola Jokic, who is having a phenomenal season, arguably his best individual season. He is dragging this carcass of a Nuggets roster to their record that they currently have. So this is a big game for me for Nurk. It's a big game for the defense. It's a big game for cutting down on the quality of threes, because we know the Nuggets aren't going to take a lot. The Suns actually do a good job of limiting that number. But if they're still hitting 45% of them, you're going to be in trouble. That math is going to balance out.
Well, and that's another thing that we've seen for the last year and a half. Like, these aren't problems that just have shown up this year. It's defending the 3. It's those turnovers like you talked about. And I'm at a point where I don't want to see Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, or Devin Booker being the guys that are initiating it. I want Tyus Jones to be the guy that now is orchestrating the offense. I know it won't happen, but if turnovers are going to continue to kill you like they have, you got to try something different at some point. But maybe your roster's just not built in a way that you can. I mean, obviously, I'm just in a real happy, cheery Christmas mood today when it comes to this, but I'm beyond fed up with where we're at and the fact that we're in year 2 of the same mistakes continuing to happen.
The turnovers have been better this year, though. They've been terrible in spurts. Like, they're still top 10 in taking care of the ball. They're still top 10 in opponent points off turnovers. Like, they've been really good in that respect. It's these spurts, especially the last couple of games, where they've really needed it against bad teams, where it's been so glaring and unacceptable. So hopefully they're able to find a way to get back to a base, find a better balance. And again, like we've been saying since last year, The big three, the guys that are initiating, you need them to initiate, but they have to take better care of the ball, and you have to do a better job of letting Tyus do what he does.
Yeah, and another thing that you mentioned a little bit ago, Gerald, is that Jusuf Nurkic needs to step up tonight. Obviously, he's been a massive talking point the entire season, the pendulum swinging, that is him. For some reason, I mean, we know why, but for some reason, he loves playing against Nikola Jokic, and physicality-wise, he matches up well. Now, this is a little bit of a lighter Nurk than what we've seen before, but Espo, we've seen some of Nurk's best career performances come up against this Denver team with Nikola Jokic.
Well, yeah, because this is where he came up, and Jokic earned his starting job over Nurk. And I think he obviously feels a certain way, and he is built physically in a way that he can take on Jokic. But look, this could be Nurk's last stand, and in a lot of ways, like this is the one reason that he has stayed around and people feel a certain way about it is because he's been able to stand up to Nikola Jokic, and you've got to, right? I mean, you got to do it tonight. If Jusuf Nurkic doesn't show up tonight, then I don't know that he's ever going to show up in a way that is extremely useful to this team.
You're right. This is a big opportunity for Nurk to kind of bounce back here because, like we've been saying, Nurk takes this game very seriously. He takes this matchup seriously. It's brought out the best in him over the years. And honestly, if you look at the lay of the West, like there are a few guys that I would rather have out on the court just to match Jokic's physicality than Nurkic. Not all the other stuff, but the physicality and the way that he takes this matchup seriously, I would have Nurk in that matchup. But when you look at the other teams in the West, they become problematic. So if Nurk is not able to use back-to-back games here against Denver to kind of build some positive momentum, then you're in a place where it's really hard to see how he finds the motivation and the positivity to just play well for this team.
And just to be clear from my perspective, I don't want, or am necessarily looking for Jusuf Nurkic to have a triple-double tonight. Or to have 20 points.
Be useful.
Right? That's, not even just that, but, and it's the same thing with the Suns. We talk about the defense and the effort against the Pistons. I need to see you locked in for every single minute that you're on there. You cannot even if you did get fouled in the middle of a live ball play, turn away from the basket and complain to the referee. And I know he's not the only one who does that, but I cannot see that from you tonight. That is not the mentality that you can have when you're down a superstar. Hell, that's not the mentality you can have if you actually want to be a competitive team in this Western Conference. For Jusuf Nurkic specifically, I want his mentality to be right tonight, and I think the rebounds and the points will follow after that. But sometimes he can walk into 15 rebounds and you can still look back at the game and say, yeah, he wasn't exactly locked in.
My bar is so low for Jusuf Nurkic that Jusuf Nurkic could jump over it, all right? It is not that high off the ground with what I need. Be passable on defense in this game. Rebound the basketball. Don't do anything stupid on offense, and I think you've had a successful game. I mean, that's where we're at with it, is be a net positive. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy that we're like... I'm kind of not expecting it, but you have a reasonable hope that in this particular matchup against the MVP frontrunner that he'll bounce back. That's kind of hard expectation-wise, but like Espo said, the bar isn't that high. You just have to be passable. You just have to give the team good minutes. You can't be a net negative like you've been all season, especially compared to last year when the Suns were a lot better with him on the court than they were when he was off of it.
I'm going to take a breath. Via advice from your wonderful wife, Tracy, in the chat.
You're just afraid I'm going to jump in and start talking. See?
No,
right?
no. I'm not afraid of that at all. Of course, we have jersey matchups. We have everything else, our bets, all of that coming up. I remind everybody that the Rate Bowl is coming up in downtown Phoenix on December 26th. Get ready to huddle up at Chase Field for some college football postseason action, as it is that time of the year. It's the Rate Bowl between the Kansas State Wildcats and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. It is the only bowl that is Big 12 versus Big 10. And if you're trying to get away with your family or get away from your family after the holidays, December 26th at 3:30, the Rate Bowl is the place to be for game tickets, premium experiences, and reserve parking. All that is available over at ratebowl.com.
I got to tell you, it may sound ridiculous that, football in a baseball stadium, but I got to tell you, it actually is a lot of fun. I actually worked the Rate Bowl multiple times over the years, and it's a fun experience. It's a fun environment. Highly recommend you go out there and check out the Rate Bowl, especially, it's got the powerhouse Rutgers. When you think of the best in college football, you think of Rutgers. I make fun of Rutgers because my uncle went there, and it's just fun to make fun of Rutgers.
Rutgers, Kansas State. Where were you? Let's take a look at the jersey matchup for tonight. Espo, I'm sure you're going to have nothing to say about this one.
The beautiful purple jerseys versus a topical map you think you would see on the Weather Channel. The Nuggets have the worst uniform in the entire NBA. Guess what? We know you're a mile high above sea level. You don't need to put the damn number on it, all right? And then the multi-patterned stuff with the rainbow color. If you want to do that, go to the old school rainbow colors. There are 6 numbers on the front of this jersey. The only place you see 6 numbers is on a penal or on that was not a penal code.
There you go. One more time.
You say
from
that.
The top.
Let me try that again. The only time you should see 6 numbers on the front of something should be on a jumpsuit in a prison. There we go.
Oh, no. I got no words on that one.
I don't even want to say anything after that. I will say I like the sides. I don't like the numbers. I actually do.
Why do you like the sides?
I just think it's cool.
They look like a weather map.
Okay. Sometimes weather maps look cool, dude.
No.
I like the side.
I like the sides. The fit, your 6 numbers on the front is psychotic. Yeah. Genuinely psychotic. I do not stand on that. I love our purple ones as well. I love you, chat. Make sure
Blue Chew.
Make sure y'all hit that like button. We appreciate all of you being in here on a Monday night as well. Let's go ahead and look at the line for tonight. Of course, from our friends over at Bet365. The Suns are underdogs. Surprise, surprise with the way they've been playing. Plus 4.5 on the spread. Plus 155 on the money line over on Denver side. Minus 185 on the money line. Minus 4.5 on the spread. So that's what Bet365 thinks we're going to have tonight. Let's say what we have tonight as far as our score predictions go. Oh, man. I think this might be the first time all season, Gerald, where we all picked the opposing team.
Yeah, we all got the Nuggets covering on this one. I got Nuggets by 5, and Steven's got them by 6.
I'm also rolling Nuggets by 5. Espo, you are extra depressed today.
Yeah, Nuggets by 10. You know what? I'm trying to do the other side of it here. I usually say Suns by 1 or 2 when I'm not feeling great. I'm just going opponent by a lot tonight. So
opponent by a lot tonight. At least at this point, and this is going to sound so pathetic. If the Phoenix Suns come out and show effort for all 4 quarters and win by a couple points, we're going to be thrilled. We're going to be so happy.
Hold on. If they show effort for all 4 quarters, we'll be happy regardless of the result. Fair. We haven't seen that in a handful of games.
Yeah.
If you just end up getting and this is such a sad conversation to have. If you just end up getting dominated by Nikola Jokic, it is what it is. He puts up 50, 30, and 30 like he seems to do every other night. And you put the effort in, you're trying hard, you're closing out on 3-pointers, you're not turning the ball over. I will be relatively happy tonight. I'm not going to be thrilled because you are not in a position teetering right around 500 to lose any of these games right now. But given the context of the past couple of games, of the past week or so, even including beating bad teams, but not in the most convincing fashion, you want the effort. You want the bare minimum at this point.
We do. We need a game to feel good about. We have not had a game that was a good win to feel good about since the win over San Antonio. And that was 3 weeks ago. And that was a game where, once again, KD went down with injury. Yeah. So, even that was tainted in some way. They need a win against a quality opponent, which they have not had in weeks now. And the Nuggets, as much as they're kind of floundering right now and figuring things out as well, that's still a playoff caliber team with an MVP candidate.
And they still found a way to win. They're struggling, but last night they stormed back from out of nowhere in the second half.
Against the 5-win Pelicans. But
right, but hey. It's a Pelicans team that beat the Suns. Right?
That's my point. That's not good.
Right. So they're at least finding a way to win. And that is something to keep in mind. First half Nuggets play possum. Second half Nuggets play like the best team of all time. It's genuinely insane when you go back and you look at this season, their net rating, their offense or defensive rating in the first half versus the second half. Yeah. So even if the Suns in the first half do all the things that we want them to do, shoot threes, limit turnovers, defend hard, and they're up 15 points, I'm not sitting back comfortable. I'm still saying you need to step on the gas even more, because we've seen them come out to start third quarters extremely flat-footed.
So should I be terrified if they come out the way that they did last first quarter? And they give up 41, and then we're like, but this is a second half team.
You should be terrified if they play great in the first half, and then the third quarter Suns come around. You should be terrified if they get off to a terrible start, because then the second half Nuggets are coming. We're not going to be feeling good until the fourth quarter is over and the Suns are up on top. That's where we're at with this team.
We're down bad is what it comes to this.
Yeah. Steven in the chat joining us while he is on vacation says if they set a better tone, that would help a whole lot.
It sure would.
Yeah, and you have seen this team when it's hit its stride, right? Even in these little pockets of a game, like they have good chemistry on the court. The ball can zip around, they do good things when they're feeling good, but then it feels like as soon as something goes wrong, a misrotation, a foul doesn't go their way, which, by the way, Denver is number one in free throws, I believe, either attempted or made. Yeah, they're number one in both. They're number one in free throws attempted and number one in free throws made, and you're on the road, so you have to assume that the refs are probably not going to be giving you the most favorable whistle. You're playing in an environment where you're going to get a little bit more tired, which means you have to rely on your instincts a little bit more, which then comes down to effort. Like there's a lot going on tonight that's going to kind of prove who exactly this team is. And they might have already done that, so it could be confirmation or giving us hope that what we've seen recently is not true.
Yeah, I need to see a good start from this team just to get off on the right foot, because obviously you're missing Devin Booker. He's one of the best in terms of first quarter aggression that you have, and you're missing him, so you need KD and Beal to be aggressive from the jump. We've seen Beal kind of ease his way into games, especially last game. He came to life in the second and third quarters, but the first quarter didn't really do much. This starting five with Royce O'Neal in Devin Booker's place has a negative 10.5 net rating in their 5 games together. It's only 26 minutes, so it's a very small sample, but it can't be like last game where you get off to a terrible start, you give up 41 points in the first quarter to a team that plays better in the second half.
I need to see Bradley Beal come out with intensity, driving to the hoop and on the defensive end, because you're going up against Russell Westbrook tonight, who will do that. Maybe not effectively, but he's going to come out and he's going to be aggressive. And I need to see Bradley Beal match that aggressiveness early on in this game and bring that energy, because you're right. Without Devin Booker, you don't have that guy that usually takes over early in these games offensively. And I think Bradley Beal has to step up and be that guy and let Kevin Durant be more of who he naturally is in a lot of these and ease his way into a game. Not that he's not capable of taking over in first, but he tends to come in and take care of things in the second half. I want to see Bradley Beal dominate in that first quarter and own it, find his stride offensively.
So, Gerald, you mentioned the starting lineup with Royce O'Neal in it. Lots of comments in the chat talking about offense is not the Phoenix Suns' problem, it's defense. And Rob throwing out there that he believes that Ryan Dunn should be starting for the Phoenix Suns, not Royce O'Neal. I want to approach this very quickly, not as an anti-Royce O'Neal as a player, but is there an argument that putting a bigger-bodied, defensive-minded, really only guy in the starting lineup could help set a tone for the Suns, especially early?
No, it can, but I think Bud is right to lean on Royce's experience, because even though he doesn't have the size, he's about 2 inches shorter than Ryan Dunn, he is a more reliable rotational defender at this point than Ryan Dunn. Dunn is a good individual defender. He's got athleticism and traits and effort that you need. But I'm hoping with Book and Grayson out that he's going to get plenty of cracks at it tonight, more rotate. Like if he's not playing 20 plus minutes tonight, something is very wrong. I wouldn't understand that at all. And I don't understand why Bud has been so stringent with his minutes to this point. But in terms of throwing him into the starting five, I'm not sure the shooting is there right now for him to be in there, even though he obviously brings a boost in effort and defense on the other end.
Yeah, and without Devin and without Grayson, I think having Royce's offensive ability in there, as well as his willingness to play defense, is a benefit in that starting lineup. But to your point, yeah, I want to see Ryan Dunn get minutes tonight. I want to see Oso Ighodaro get a chance if you wind up going with the, a smaller, more athletic lineup at some point and trying to, force Denver a little out of their comfort zone at times. the rotations have been iffy at best for me. I'm not saying that's why the Suns have struggled, because it certainly isn't, but I also think you've got to give these guys some opportunities. So
let's round out tonight with our pregame picks presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365 when you sign up and find out why, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Of course, you must be 21 plus and physically located in AZ. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT-STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. And since I'm the one more likely to hit that number or go to that website, I'll start with my bet for the night. Simple 3-leg parlay boosted thanks to our friends over at Bet365. Nikola Jokic over 20.5 rebounds and assists. Tyus Jones 22.5 over points, rebounds, and assists. And KD over 25 points. All coming out to, I believe it is actually a plus 416 with the profit boost over at Bet365. Espo, what are you betting on tonight?
First, I've got to give Steven his flowers as he is on a 3-game bet win
He's
streak.
on a 3-game win streak?
It ends tonight, though, just so you know. And then we can look at mine, because my reign of terror begins this evening.
Does it?
As I have Christian Braun, Jusuf Nurkic, and Mason Plumlee all getting 10 or more points for plus 1,400.
That's quite an interesting bet.
You might be the first person to ever
boosted.
bet that.
It's boosted, so I was like, why not? I've tried everything. Let's just get weird, all right?
Okay, so I have not seen the final standings that Steven has hit 3 bets in a row, so I'm interested to see that. Let's see what he's picking tonight. Steven with the simple 2-leg parlay somehow ending up at a plus 800. Wow. Kevin Durant, 35 plus points, and both teams to score 120 points, coming out to plus 800. So where is he sitting as far as our leaderboard goes? Oh, he's okay. I thought he was going to be like 2,000 or something, right? 184.92. Only one in the green. Espo at negative 95.
He's only almost $400 up on you.
And some guy who's tanner than Espo, doesn't wear a hat. I don't even know who the guy in the middle is, but he's down 203.50, which is insane. So that guy should get some help. I have no idea who the guy in the middle is. We appreciate all of you joining us here on this pregame show. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Hopefully we can all be back here talking about a win post game, but either way, we will be here right here on PHNX Sports. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on so you know every single time that we go live, and we'll see you all after the final buzzer. Enjoy the game.
We all silly like the mayor.